What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and in a bizarre statement, Facebook has threatened to shut down both Facebook and Instagram in response to new data limits or data contracts in several countries around the world. Interestingly, if you've been following it, the Facebook stock absolutely plummeted, losing $200 billion in market cap in a single day after last week they reported that for the very first time in history, their usership grew in reverse, meaning they had more people quit Facebook than actually use it. Now, I know a lot of people meme about how they never use Facebook, but the fact of the matter is there's still like something like 1.2 billion users on Facebook. It's a absolutely massive platform. That's why the government wants to control it so much. Similar reasons that they are after Joe Rogan. They don't have any problem with how large Twitter is because, well, Twitter, self-controls themselves and they push the right narratives. Facebook dared to allow even the tiniest bit of free speech. By the way, if you are on Facebook, and you don't have to admit it, they actually deleted my quartering page. And they said I didn't violate any terms of service, but they also couldn't reinstate it. So they said, oh, we'll just create a new one. Okay, well, that's nice. But what about the 20,000 viewers that are 20,000 fans or people that follow the page? So if you still use Facebook, I have a Facebook account, just facebook.com/quartering instead of The Quartering. And I'll leave it in the pinned comment below. If you can help me relaunch the page by giving it a follow, I would greatly appreciate it. And I know a lot of people say, meh, Facebook, why use Facebook? I use everything. I use Minds, I use Facebook, I use Gab, Getter, BitChute, Odyssey. It's a great way to still reach normies. And so facebook.com/thequartering. Please do help me relaunch the page. Now, Meta threatens to pull the plug on Facebook and Instagram in Europe over data privacy dispute. Europeans who love posting to Facebook and Instagram could soon be left in the cold. This is probably never going to happen, but I think it's pretty interesting. By the way, if we check in on the Facebook stock today, it's down another 5%. If we look at the 5-day, it's down nearly 30%. Look at that cliff. I can't think of a time when I've seen stock drop that sharply and then continue to drop. People still don't see value in it. It's probably because they threatened to pull the plug in Europe and they're already facing reverse growth. Now they're talking about cutting people off. It's interesting to me. I've also in my link tree, I have an Instagram page. I'm just going to post memes there for a while, see if I can find any new viewers there. But I digress. Mark Zuckerberg's Meta warned that it may have to pull the plug on its popular social media programs no matter the cost. Data privacy issues with the EU are compounding headaches for the company, which has been the subject of one governance scandal after another. By the way, it's my opinion that these like governance fines that Facebook and Google and all this stuff get from the EU and from the United States, they're just ways to extort money. I think Google had to pay the EU like $50 billion for some data garbage. Did any of that go to the citizens? No. What about all these giant FTC fines that the Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Google and YouTube all have to pay? Do the citizens get any of that money? No. So I am very skeptical. Now we know Europe had the, Article 13, where they were basically trying to implement a link tax, which would essentially destroy many YouTube channels and many journalism websites. That's kind of been put on the back burner for now, but it certainly isn't off the table. Last week, Meta suffered its largest one-day wipeout in market cap of any U.S. stock in history, following a grim outlook marred by competition from TikTok and $10 billion in Apple-related ad targeting headwinds. In a 10-K annual filing with the U.S. SEC, the company warned investors that failure in the U.S. and EU to reach new agreement on data transfers could result in Meta deciding to shut down its core operations in the region. That would materially and adversely affect its financial performance. In July 2020, the EU's top court struck down existing data transfer arrangement between the US and EU, known as Privacy Shield, on the grounds that the EU could not be certain the data would be safe from US government surveillance once housed in data centers on American soil. Since then, Meta and other large US technology companies have tended to rely on different legal mechanism called standard and contractual clauses to move EU user data to the US. I suppose they could also just create data centers in the EU, right? I would imagine, but I don't know. If a new transatlantic data transfer framework is not adopted and we are unable to continue to rely on SCCs or rely upon alternative means of data transfer from Europe to the United States, we will likely be unable to offer a number of our most significant products and services, Meta said. What people don't understand is, now I know my viewers do, but what a lot of people don't understand is there is a lot more money in Facebook / Meta / Instagram selling your data than they will ever make in selling any individual product or even charging for their services or anything of that nature. So you end up in a situation where they need to collect your data. They need to be able to sell your data in order to make profits. The U.S. government and EU Commission have been trying to arrive at a mutually acceptable solution in the 2 years since, with the U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo expressing confidence recently that the deal would be struck. Citing the comments from Meta, however, Schrems tweeted on Sunday that it was amazing how they don't seem to work on durable solutions. Meaning, why are we always going back to this? Why are we always, having temporary solutions? First, there was a scandal surrounding voter targeting by Cambridge Analytica. Then revelations brought to light by the whistleblower, Frances Haugen, who's also like a crypto millionaire, but whatever, that Facebook and Instagram inflicted psychological harm on youth. And finally, its role fostering various ideas they didn't like around the COOF and Trump and movements. Again, it was never about misinformation with Facebook. It was never about, getting people the right information. It's only about control. And we saw that Facebook donated some enormous sum of cash to the Democrats in the last election. We know what light guides their data, their information, we know who decides what is misinformation, what isn't on Facebook. Shares of Meta were trading at 4.2% lower on Monday, substantially lower than the $323 stock price it had just prior to Q4 earnings. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say it's like, unless you're titling a video, it's hard to say that Facebook is quote unquote collapsing when they have the massive viewership that they do. 1.2 billion active users is insane. That's why, like, a lot of people say, I don't care about Facebook. Like, my quartering Facebook page is very, very, very important to trying to reach new people. And just like Minds is. The difference is people that use Minds probably already watch my content, or they're aware of it and they don't like me. When you're talking about Facebook, you have a real chance to reach people who are not yet aware of how bad things are in tech. And that's why it's so important to me. And of course, I would laugh heartily if they shut down, because I think they do far more damage in terms of swaying elections, in my opinion. What they do with their money and all this other stuff, I think they do far more damage than good. But let's be honest, it's not like TikTok's out there advancing the conversation. TikTok, in my opinion, is spending plenty of time eroding and it's far more damaging. Look where all these like weirdos who have, 746 genders are coming from. They're not coming from Facebook. They're coming from TikTok. So to me, TikTok, a Chinese company, is also more concerning than Facebook ever would be, because at least Facebook's operating here in the United States, out in the open. Do I think they're actually going to shut down? Probably not. But it would be funny if they did. Remember to check out facebook.com/thequartering. Click like and follow if you still use Facebook. I would greatly appreciate it. I lost about 20,000 people with Facebook's glitch, so trying to get some of you all back. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.